Are you currently looking for a rental unit in Toronto? Ever since the rise of the interest rate fighting the mighty inflation, the real estate market has plummeted, and the result can't be more apparent than that many buyers were sitting on the sidelines and flooded even more onto the rental market. Including the record high immigration to Canada, I guess you will have a pretty good idea how hot the rental market could be. In this video, I will go through some of the nuances, advice, and what is going on in today's rental market in Toronto. If you are confused about what to do or how you can rent a place in the GTA, make sure you stay till the end of the video. Alright, welcome back to AV Team Real Estate channel. I'm Antonio, a local real estate agent in the GTA. Recently, ever since I posted for a lease, I get flooded with requests for aides to find a rental property in the GTA. My biggest requests were in the area in Scarborough, downtown Markham, the North York area, near Don Mills and Shepherd, and so on. First, let's address some of the most frequent asked questions when renters come to me in the first place. Let's start with the group that I often encounter, the international students. I'm sure you heard about the number of students coming to Ontario, especially with the number of post-secondary schools, university, and colleges that we offer. On average, I could get 5 to 10 daily requests from all sorts of students that are looking for accommodation. And more often than not, they usually have a group of 4 or more students that want to rent a 2-bedroom condo. Believe me, I spoke to countless students and newcomers, and they usually bombarded me with tons of requests and needs and the reason why they needed a place with a certain amount that they had in mind, and with pricing that doesn't even match the average rental price in the market. Requests such as this that I hear almost daily are they want a certain price with utilities and such. The truth is, most landlords only allow 2 or a maximum of 3 tenants in a 2-bedroom unit. Why? Well, it is because the landlord also experiences tenant complexity with more people not taking care of the property. There are plenty of more reasons why landlords don't want more people in a property, but at the end, they also account for the students having to pay more for a single room. While I do understand the needs and wants, if you are watching and fall under this category, I hope I can answer your question from this video. First, you have to understand the following. What are the current average rentals in Ontario? The fact is, we have witnessed the fastest increase in rent within a year, and that might be the main reason why students didn't have any idea, especially when their old lease was up and due to renew. This data is provided by rentals.ca, and hopefully this can give you the most updated average rent in Ontario. Let's start with the nationwide rent in Canada, and as you can see, we are just below Vancouver and sitting at second with a whopping 1-bedroom average of $2,506 and $3,286 for 2 beds. Here is the provincial average rent in April of 2023, and in Ontario, 1 bed is already at $2,180, 2 beds at $2,649, and 3 beds are just shy of $3,000. Now that you know what is going on so far in April of 2023, I still get bombarded with requests, such as students saying that they want a 2-bed rental under $2,000. And on top of that, I will request stating that I can't afford more and need to include the utilities. Let's be clear, the landlords are only looking at the average rent and what the market is permitting them to lease their property for. If by any chance you are one of the renters looking to rent and approaching me, I hope I'm clear to let you know that I don't have control over the landlords putting up the rental prices. All I can say is that they are there due to demand on the market and what they are renting at the moment. I have nothing to do to set up the rental prices at all. The fact is, I can also confirm that there are renters lining up for a rent as inventory is becoming low. Not only are the new listings for home for sale low, but the rental are also going towards the same trend, hence the high demand. Just think, if you were the landlord, would you rent your property lower if you know there were tons of renters lining up in your front door? This of course applies to the people who are on the rental market as well, not just the students. The highest second category that I get requests are the newcomers, and similarly due to the high rate of rented work permits and acceptance of permanent residences from the record number of immigrants, this unfortunately applies to this group as well. Next step, after hitting reality, I'm going to touch upon what you need to prepare when you are ready to put an offer on the rental market today. First is your employment letter, or if you are self-employed, then you will need to proof of income. Here I want to clarify some of the things I encountered daily, and I hope after watching this video that could save you some time time when you are dealing with this now. Usually when I ask about the employment letter or source of income, they tend to start talking about how much they make back home or other sources of income. At the end of the day, make sure you can prove the source of income and not just tell how much you make. This is why I suggest you to do the process, the dot of the landlord. Let's say you are the landlord. Would you prefer someone who gives you all the documentation that can prove their income, or someone who tells you by word of mouth that this is how much they make? I can reassure you that they will pick the one with the proof and a higher income. That is the sad reality. So before you try to explain the source of income, always think about how you can prove the income in any shape or form. The second thing you would need is a credit score. If you have no idea or clue what a credit score is, it is simply a 3-digit number that represents how likely a credit bureau thinks you are to pay your bills on time. In Canada, according to Equifax, a good credit score is usually between 660 and 724. If your credit score is between 725 and 759, it's likely to be considered very good. A credit score of 760 or above is generally considered to be an excellent credit score. When you first get here, you won't start high since you haven't used your credit card or any line of credit. This usually accumulates when you use your credit and pay on time to build up your credit. Speaking of credit score, the typical two places that you can get your credit score is Equifax or TransUnion. Equifax usually offer a 30 days free trial so you can use it wisely when applying for it. Now, the million-dollar question is for any newcomers or new student coming to the country. How are they supposed to get high credit score when they start in the low 600s when they get there? There is really no simple solution to that. Kind of like asking what comes first, egg or chicken. The truth is, when the market favors renters, the landlord would accept anyone with any credit score if they wish the property to rent out. But on the contrary, in the landlord market, whoever has the higher credit score usually has the advantage. In order to get accepted, the only solution that I can see is to offer rent upfront as a deposit. I have seen many renters offer 6 months to a full year's rent in order to secure the rent. The third item that you have to prepare would be your pay stub if you are employed. The most common request from the landlord would be the most recent 3 months pay stubs. This is the part where you also want to prepare the rental application. I will also link to this form if you are not familiar with it. Basically, it is a form that states all the applicants that will be on the list, and it will give the landlord a summary of your employment, income, and all your contact information. The form only has room for 2 applicants and for additional tenants such as kids or parents that don't provide income. If there are more than 2 income applicants, it is advised to use separate form. The one final reason for this rental application is to help the listing agent or the landlord find a number to call for references. And lastly, you will have to provide an ID such as driver license, permanent resident card, or work or student permit. This is of course to verify your student and your legal name, and at the same time to look at your face and appearance to see if they match the documents that you provided. After getting all this information ready, you are now ready to submit your offer. If you are not working with a realtor, then this could be tricky. You may ask why. First of all, if you try in this rental market, you probably know that it is extremely difficult to get your rental application accepted. And what happens if you get rejected? You get back to the usual public app or website that is on the market to search again, and that could be painful. And you might not have the best access to most listings on the market. If you are not a real estate agent, you won't have instant access to the MLS system, and let's be honest, you might not have the best tools like a real estate agent to search for listings that were posted on the MLS. The major reason why you would use a real estate agent is that the commission is paid by the landlord who posts it on the MLS. Although this might be common knowledge, to this day, most newcomer or students don't know that. They simply think that hiring a real estate agent to find a lease will cost them some kind of fee. To be clear, most leases on the MLS are paid by the landlord, and it's typically be a 1-month rent that will be distributed to the listing agent and the buyer agent. In this case, the agent that you hire to look for rental. Unless the landlords decide to lease it on their own, which we call it a mere posting, and the seller chooses either a fixed fee or half-month payment to the agent who brings the tenant. In my opinion, the next most valid reason you want to use a realtor is that they can act as a middleman to negotiate in your best interest. I can find countless times when using great introduction letters and also find ways to communicate with the listing agent that help tremendously in getting acceptance by the landlord. On top of that, real estate agent could also provide you with information that you may not be aware of, such as what kind of rights you have as a tenant. If you are a newcomer, you might not know the landlord and tenancy board, which which protect the tenants in many ways. That means the real estate agent can offer you some type of protection in today's rental market. So why not hire a real estate agent and request rental based on your needs and the most current listings that are available in the market? But I also want to remind you that there are many listings that are not posted on MLS, such as some of the popular websites like Kijiji, Craigslist, Facebook, and some other rental websites. Be mindful that these listings are usually posted by the landlord who don't want to pay out the commission to the agent. From my experience, I can tell you that most of the time it is because those units are either not legally ready for lease or in very bad condition. I'm not saying that it won't be possible to find a good property there, but the chances are not high. I thought it would be a short video, but as I was recording, it turned out to be a longer than I thought. I hope this can provide you with useful information, and if you happen to be one of the renters in the Toronto market, it could be useful to you. Don't hesitate to contact me if you do need some help finding a lease in this hot rental market. My contact information is in the description down below, and I will end the video right here and see you on the next one. Bye.